Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say my PC was corrupted, so I had to move from Windows 11 to Windows 10, as you can see. So we continue from where we ended. So last time we were talking about arrays and for loops and its application in social network analysis, and that was the last part for week 1. So today we'll be doing functions. We'll start to look on what are functions and how they operate. So this is the topic which is in week 2, including while and if statements and its application in social network analysis. But this first video will concentrate on functions. What are functions and how do functions work? And then the second video will concentrate on while statements. Then the last one will be for if statements. Oh, by the way, the last one will be how we apply it in social network analysis. So we expect 4 videos from this week 2 topic. Okay, so starting off with functions. So this is the handout which we'll be using. So we want to introduce what functions are and how they work. So as usual, you need to open up Microsoft Visual Studio Code or code blocks or any other program used to write your source codes. So on the desktop, I'm going to create a folder which is written functions for this particular video. So in Microsoft Visual Studio Code, I'm going to say open folder. Then under the desktop, I'm going to select the folder which I've just created, which is functions. Then inside this folder, I'll create a new file. Which is called introduction, because I want to give you the introduction to functions. So I'll say .cpp, which is the extension for C++. So after that, we said each and every program should start with hashtag include IO stream. Okay, then we said using namespace std, which is standard. And then each and every program should have a main function, which is an integer in our case. And then we need to return something. So this time around we are going to return a 0, because 0 is also an integer. Now here we are talking about functions. So let me just give you a scenario on how functions normally operate. So I'll give a comment which will say write a program that will add 2 numbers. Okay, so that's our comment. Write a program that will add 2 numbers. So since we are dealing with addition, we know we just need to have 2 numbers. For example, if you have 1 plus 1, you say it's equal to 2. This is just an example, so let me give it as a comment. So if you say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, that's how you can add these 2 numbers for you to get the sum, which is 2. So a normal program can be written that you need a variable which will store this first value. Then again you need another variable which will store this second value, and we need the last variable which will store the answer. So in that case, since these are numbers, we're talking about integers, we say int. So we'll say first number. So we can say first number if we want the variable to store the first number. Then we use a comma. Then the second variable we can say second number. So this variable will store the value for this second number. Then we can give out a statement, say out. So the comment you want to give is to say enter two numbers of your choice. Enter two numbers of your choice. So we end the line. Okay, so here we are going to link the variable for the first number and the variable for the second number, like that. So this statement will be displayed to the user to say enter two numbers of your choice. Then the user will enter the first number such as 1 and the second number such as 1 again, based on this example. Then after that we need to print out the answer. So remember, the answer is also an integer. We say int, so sum, because the answer is the sum, or you can say answer, so is equal to. So for us to get 2, we said 1 plus 1. So 1 in this case is the first number, then we say plus. So 1, this other one is the second number. So you do like that for you to get these 2. So that is the meaning behind that. Then after we do that, we need to print out, or we need to display this particular answer. So we can say sum is equal to, now remember the value for the sum is stored in this variable, which is sum. Then we end the line. So for this one I was a little bit faster because this is just giving us an idea, but we haven't started using functions yet, but it's giving us an idea of what we are about to do. So here I'll say Ctrl S to save this program. Then I'll go on my terminal. I'll say new terminal. Then you need to make sure that you are at the directory or folder for this particular program. So say G++, then what's the name for this particular source code? It's introduction.cpp, then -o for the output name. Then we just call it functions. Let's say functions. Okay, so once we generate this functions executable file, you just need to run it like that. So it has said enter two numbers of your choice. I'll say 1 and 1. So these are the two numbers of my choice, so I expect the answer to be 2. Okay, so it says sum is equal to 2 because we said sum is equal to this value, which is now 2. Okay, so that's how functions work, like if we say the basics. Now, since we've understood what we are doing here, we need to understand how functions operate and what's the use of these same functions. Okay, so basically you can write functions in between using namespace std. Here you can write your functions, here. So you can write your functions here, or you can write your functions below this. Why? Because this thing you are seeing, which is int main return 0 whatsoever, this is the main function. So we cannot write a function inside this main function, but we can write a function before the main function or after the main function so that we are able to call that particular function in the main function, so it will make sense once we do it. So looking at this syntax for the main function, a function should have a type such as integer. It should have a name of that particular function. Then these two symbols where we'll be putting the conditions. Then we'll use these two curly braces. Then we need to return something such as this value. So let's do that. So in the previous example, we talked about writing a program which will add two numbers. So in this case, we can say, since we know we need a function that adds two numbers, we are going to call that function. First of all, the type is an integer because numbers are integers. So say int, then we give it a name. So the name, since we are adding, we can simply say add for addition. So that's the name. Then we follow up with these two symbols, as you can see, like that, the brackets. Then inside that, you need to specify the elements you have. In this case, we are saying add two numbers. So those two numbers can be represented by variables such as number 1 and number 2, or we can use letters such as A and B, X, Y. But since in mathematics they like using X, Y, so we can say int, because that first number will be an integer, so we'll say int X, then int Y. So it means since we are saying add two numbers, find the sum of two numbers, so those two numbers are what we call int X, int Y. So they are represented by these two variables, which is X and Y. Okay, that's the meaning. So we come out like this. Then we have these curly braces. So you say we have the curly braces like that. Then inside the curly braces, before we say return 0, remember we need to give a certain condition. In this case, we are just giving out the formula. So since we want to add two numbers, it means what's the formula for the sum. So first of all, we know we are going to specify that the answer is also an integer. So say answer, or we can say int sum is equal to X plus Y. Why am I saying X plus Y? Because we've said that X is the variable for the first number entered, then Y is the variable for the second number entered. So it's more like the answer for this addition should be first number plus the last number or second number. Then remember we need to return something. So here what we are returning, we need to return this answer or this value which is giving us the expected output. So say answer like that. So this is how we write. So this is how we write a function. So now we need to call this function for it to be executed in this main function. So I'll bring back the question which was saying write a program that will add two numbers. Okay, so one thing you need to understand is that whatever variable you call in this function before the main function is not part of the main function. So if you want to use the same name, you need to call it again. If it's an integer, you say int. So for example, if you want to use the first number as x, you cannot say x because you've already coded x, so it will be an error like that. But you need to say int x. Okay, so that is what I mean. So first of all, we are going to start with variables storing the value for two numbers. So we said the integers, we can have the first number, then we can have the second number, so it's more like a repetition. We can have the second number, yeah, like that. So remember, once you have these variables, we need to display a statement to the user to enter the two numbers. Okay, so we do that by saying cout, then we give a comment which is saying enter any two numbers of your choice. Okay, so after you do that, you can end the line, and then you say cin, and then you specify. So we say cin, so we link the first number and then the second number so that the user is able to enter these two expected values. Then lastly, we need to calculate the sum of the two entered values or numbers. Yeah, so this time around we won't say int sum, then we say it's equals to first number, then plus second number. We won't write it like this, no. Why? Because we already have a function which can operate this particular thing. Okay, so we just need to say sum is equal to, what's the name for the function which is doing addition? Is called add. So you say add, then once you say add, because that's the name, you put this square bracket, the brackets, then it will say int x. So int x was the first number, and in the main function the first number is written as first number, so you say first number, then we have a comma, so you put comma, then it's saying int y. So int y was the second number, and in the main function the second number is called second number, so you just say second number. Then you, once you are done, you just do this. There's no need for you to repeat this because that's the whole point of calling out a function in the main function. So once that is done, you just need to display, so you just need to display the sum. So we say cout, then you can give a comment to say sum is equal to, then after that is done, you can link it to the value which was the sum. In this case again it's sum, then you end the line, and then we can say Ctrl S to save this particular program. Then we'll go on terminal again, new terminal, and then we are going to say g++, the name of our file, which is introduction.cpp, then the output name, we're going to create functions again. So once we do that, we can learn the executable file for functions. It's saying enter any two numbers of your choice. I can go with 1 and 1, then it will say sum is equal to 2. So this is how we can use functions. This is how we can use functions in C++. So there will be more complex examples as we finish up each and every expected topic in this um, lecture, where we use while statements and if statements, then we can combine them all to do one particular thing and its application in social network analysis. So this is it for this video. So hope you understand functions and maybe its use, if I may say. So my name is Soko James, representing KMU Cyber Security Tutorials, and these are the 2024 to 2025 classes for KMU CYS tutorials. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.